Hello and welcome back to Buckle Up. I'm Harry King, and what lies before you here is the Jeep Avenger North Face Edition, finally with all-wheel drive as well. So let's find out if it's any good. Let's begin here at the front with the styling, and my God, is there a lot of styling. The front bumper has been changed to provide more off-road protection. There are also allegedly skid plates underneath the body, although I haven't been able to properly get under there and assess how strong they really are. Also for this North Face edition, you may not have noticed this because it's quite subtle, but there is a logo here on the bonnet that tells you this is the North Face. This does serve an actual purpose. The idea is it stops sunlight reflecting off the large, flat, Jeep-like bonnet into your eyes when you're trying to do tricky things off-road. You also do get, actually slightly more subtly, some cool little lines in the grille to mimic a map. You've also got a few of these orange accents around the place, more of which we'll see down the side. You get all black 17-inch alloy wheels wrapped in all-terrain tyres as standard. They're fairly road-biased ones, but they are a bit more off-roady than the standard Avenger. Orange flash on the Jeep badge in the centre of those wheels, and also an orange flash round the edge of the Avenger badge, which then on the face of it has a topographical theme again. You're going to keep seeing that throughout the car. You've also got Jeep written in this lower element here, and classic for this platform, we've seen this on a lot of Stellantis cars, proper door handle here. This one up here, which I don't like because as you open it, it tries to bend your fingers backwards. Also, they fill with dirt quite often. But never mind that, let's look at the boot. On the boot lid, we find the 4xe badge. I'm going to quickly explain what that means because pretty much every other 4xe Jeep is a plug-in hybrid. This one is not. The reason it's a 4xe though is the all-wheel drive system has been made possible by adding an electric motor to the rear axle rather than a mechanical linkage from the engine. This just takes petrol though, no plugging in required. If I open up the automatic tailgate, I can actually do that by doing that, maybe. It's open, isn't it? Yeah. Look at that, seamless. We will see that the boot is pretty much the same as it has been on every other car on this platform. So that is, just if you're keeping notes, the Peugeot 2008, the Vauxhall Mokka, the Fiat 600, the Alfa Romeo Junior, and this. What this loses is a little bit of space under this boot floor. But what you gain in return is this box with a logo on it, a Jeep logo and a North Face logo. In here, you've got a tent and a water bottle. Everything a young man needs to go off-roading. This comes standard with this trim level, hence why Jeep have very kindly left it in the boot. I've got to say, while it is lovely and lovely branded, it does take up about half of the boot by itself. You could use it as a shopping organiser, but I would probably leave it in your garage with your camping stuff ready to go and generally just drive around without your massive branded box of Jeep Avenger goodies. Let's take a quick detour to the inside to see if there are any differences there. So here in the back, things are pretty much the same as always. Couple of key differences. I've got a North Face logo on the backs of the driver and passenger seat, and this storage system, which is a big upgrade because the regular car doesn't even get seat back pockets. Also, the materials are different. These have clearly been inspired by North Face equipment, so they're all kind of action fabric, neoprene stuff. My only issue with this is it's not terribly breathable, so actually it's quite a sweaty experience in this car sometimes. I think, though, I'm going to get myself out of this window and talk you through the front. This again is going to be a whistle-stop tour. For those of you who want more of an in-depth view of the interior or exterior of this car and to know why I refused to get into those back seats just then, go and watch my full video review of the Jeep Avenger, which I've already done. previously. Only thing tech-wise to mention is this gets sat-nav as standard on this top-spec North Face edition. Otherwise, lots of interior changes. So I've got specific floor mats for this one. That one has some coordinates on it. This one has a little drawing of the car. Again, the seats are in this neoprene material. I've got a specific North Face cover for my centre cubby storage area, wireless charger and stuff down there. And on this element here, they've got more topographical stuff. So it's all topographical themed. You also get the usual little Jeep touches around the place. I've got a man with a telescope in the windscreen, and I've got Mont Blanc on the rear window. It all feels very roughy-tufty in here. There's also a decent amount of storage, cup holders, centre cubby, under armrest in here. Decent-sized door bins as well. And the seating position is not too bad. In this North Face edition, I've said North Face edition so many times now, you do get a heated seat and a heated windscreen as standard, which is lovely. I think, though, the key thing to go and find out is, how does this drive now they've put all-wheel drive in it? Right, driving the Avenger 4xe North Face edition. Let's start with some facts and figures. Weirdly, even though this has a whole extra electric motor, the peak power output is still rated at 136 PS and 230 Nm of torque. That rear motor only has 20 horsepower. It operates at lower speeds and when you lose traction off-road. So it's not really adding to the peak power figure. What it is adding to is the sort of the pickup and feeling of urgency in a town situation. So weirdly, becoming a better off-road car has made this an even better city car, which is pretty much the only thing it was good at before. Also, to house that rear electric motor, they've had to change the rear suspension to multi-link independent rear suspension, which should help with how the car handles. We'll talk about that a bit more later on. The other important fact and or figure is 0 to 62 takes 9.5 seconds, which in this size class of car is completely fine, but yeah, not very quick at all. Things that continue to be similar to the regular front-wheel drive Avenger. Brake pedal feel could use some work. You have to do a lot of pushing to make the braking happen. And also, the steering is still incredibly light. I personally think that's fine in a Jeep product. That's kind of like matching up with the bigger, more off-roady vehicles. If you're a keen driver though, it's not really what you want. Suspension also is very, very soft and floaty. It does completely smooth out any harsh brakes in the road, but you do wobble on for quite some time. So if you're car sick, this probably isn't the car for you. I do think though, in general, it does just feel a little bit more planted. I think that rear suspension really is doing its job. And in those moments where maybe you would have washed wide or had some front tyre scrabble in the normal petrol Avenger, it now just grips and goes because the rear motor kicks in and sorts everything out. In terms of motorway driving, I've got smart cruise control on this. If you buy the entry-level model, that only comes with normal cruise control. Step up to mid-spec, you get proper automatic cruise control, self-steering and all of that good stuff, and then obviously that's continued on this as well. Speaking about those trim levels, I am sort of thinking about the equipment I get on this as standard and whether or not it is worth doing the step up, because you can get into a 4xe Avenger from £31,000, which I think is very, very good value for money for this sort of platform. If you think about the immediate rivals being, I mean, on the more budget end of things, Dacia and Suzuki, or more similar to this, you've got the Subaru Crosstrek. It's very competitively priced, and you can get that entry-level one. You can put Smart Cruise on it if you want to, and Keeley, for me, you can put the heated windscreen and seats on it for just £350. So I would be very tempted to go with that, personally. Let's see, though, we're on a slightly bendy bit of road, how that rear suspension's holding up. So definitely a lot of lean in the corners, and because of the lack of feeling in the steering, it can be tricky to smoothly exit a corner without rolling off the lock a bit too quickly and making the car judder a little bit. It definitely is just a bit more settled down the road, though, than it was previously, which is nice to see. I've always liked the Avenger, but my colleagues did not. They thought the road manners were not acceptable for a vehicle in this class. And I do get it. If you're just buying a small crossover, you sort of want it to be like a hatchback to drive. But I think if you want to buy one of these, you want it to be like a Jeep to drive. And it was, and it is. But now it is just a bit more controllable, which is nice. The one thing I haven't been able to do today is take this anywhere off-road, so hopefully I'll get to try that at some point in the near future. But until then, I think that's enough talking from me, so let's go back and do a quick conclusion. So, the North Face Edition Jeep Avenger 4xe. What am I thinking? Well, I really rather like this car. I think it's got lots of charm and personality, which I already thought of the normal cooking model. With the extra off-roady stuff and the all-wheel drive, I think this finally fulfills its purpose properly. I do like this styling. I do think that if I were going to buy one of these, I would be looking at one of the other two trim levels. It's a lot of money to pay to advertise for the North Face. But if you like this styling, it's here, it's limited edition, and it's waiting for you. Check it out now at your local Jeep/Stellantis dealership. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. If you go down into the description, you find all the links to all our social medias. You'll also find 2 ways you can support the channel. So we have channel merchandise and we have channel memberships right here on YouTube. So please go and do one or all of those things, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.